Good evening, everyone. You're watching Late Night on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures, and I am Bill. And I'm glad everyone is here. Thank you for joining me. Let's see who we have here in the chat today. Bjorn Jorgensen came in pretty early today, let me know that he had a pretty rough day at work and he wasn't probably going to stay for the full thing, and that's okay. We certainly understand. And Radical Toys is here with me saying hello to everyone. Mr. Eldor is here. Good to see you, Mr. Eldor. George Valentine came by. Good to see you, sir. Johnny Sorensen wonders who's interrupting his wrestling. That's all right. We know what's going on. We have the lovely Duchess of Darkness here with us. Hello, my lady. Good to see you. And our guest co-host is down there saying good evening to everyone as well. That'd be figuratively speaking. And Screw Your Feelings is here with us as well. Good to see you, sir. I'm glad you decided to show up. And OBS is here. Good to see you, OBS. It has been a long week for me. I probably won't be able to go into as many details as I did with figuratively speaking earlier today, but I have been on a trial jury all week. It was a deletion trial. Two people got deleted by another person, and it was first degree deletion in said case, and it was pretty rough and nasty, and I saw things I don't want to ever see again, and it ain't like it is on TV by any means. And let me just go ahead and bring in, figuratively speaking, who is our special guest host, co-host tonight. Sir.
Well,
good to see you. And I think we've worked out your audio issues that we had earlier, and your video looks pretty sharp. So hopefully we won't have that trouble tonight. And I'm glad to see that you did get right back on that horse and get back to riding it again.
Yes, sir. Dropped my first video tonight. Should hit about 11-ish.
Okay, that's about an hour after now. Did you premiere that, or are you just going to drop it?
No, I dropped it.
Okay, all right. So we don't have to worry about everybody running over there for the premiere during the show or something like that. We can watch that at our leisure. And what would you care to tell us what said video is about to give us some anticipation of what could be there?
Okay, so to make a nice story, first and foremost, I had mentioned while Bill was on a toy hunt a few weeks ago back, and he mentioned that he had found one of these at his local Walmart. And this being my absolute favorite character, not hero, not villain, because Destro is both. He's also my favorite character as far as all of G.I. Joe. He has a certain repertoire about him. He's got a family lineage about him. His family lineage dates all the way back to the 13th century, where his family was involved in selling weapons that they created, and it didn't matter if it was for the side of good or the side of evil. So with that being said, somewhere along the lineage of his family line, the man behind the Iron Mask, direct descendants, was caught selling during the British Civil War, selling weapons to both sides. Because neither side wanted to execute that family member, instead they forced an Iron Mask onto the family of Despero. At that point, this chrome dome has been dropped 20 generations from father to son.
Okay. I did not know the extent of the lore on that, and that kind of brought me up to speed on Destro. And I don't know about my audience here tonight, the wonderful people who have joined us today, especially in the chat. But that is a very interesting and complex lore. There is that something that was revealed over time in the Marvel comics, or did that come about recently?
Well, I believe it's both. I'm not too sure about the newer comics. I know as far as the older comics, first of all, let's introduce Destro to where he is. He does not exactly. He's his first introduction is in Marvel Comics G.I. Joe: Greatest American Hero, issue number 11.
Mm-hmm.
They never show his face. Not one time, not one panel in that comic book did they ever show his face. But the way he speaks, the way he carries himself, the way that he reacts to either Cobra Commander or how the Joes do what they do. He specializes in weapons. If he could sell to both, he'd sell to both.
Mm-hmm.
But with Cobra being his biggest entity as far as conglomerates, that's why he was there. He had no allegiance to Cobra whatsoever.
Uh-huh.
He was his own man, had his own agenda. At the end of the day, here's my kind of thought with this. What if you turn Destro into Cobra Commander? What would Cobra have been then?
In my opinion, I would think that Cobra probably would have been a more dangerous organization without the maniacal leadership of Cobra Commander, because Cobra Commander was a little off base, and he, for lack of a better term, he was nuttier than squirrel shit. So I think that Destro might have been a more formidable opponent, and he might have had a different agenda. Let's just say, than Cobra Commander, and that would have been a more interesting story too. I think.
I agree.
For him to have, instead of them going in the direction of the cartoon show where they introduced la 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 Cobra la 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 la, if they had say Dr. Mindbender and Destro perform a coup of some sort on Cobra Commander, and not introduce something stupid as Serpentor. I know that was to make a toy. I understand, folks. Get it. We're talking a decent storyline, though. I think a coup on Cobra Commander and them taking over the organization might have been an interesting storyline to pursue. It never happened, but when we're playing with our toys, we can pursue those storylines in our minds and our play. And I could see a number one Destro fan who is here with me today wearing a Superman T-shirt doing such in his play as well. And that begs the question, and I don't know if I've ever done this to you on the show, but everybody who gets on my show gets this done to them. Michael Purvis can attest to it and prove to me today on Instagram that he does, because he played with them today. Do you play with your toys?
Oh, I absolutely play with my toys. It's a necessity for me. Again, call it my lack of childhood, call it whatever. And it's also my kid-like state. So like when I play with my kids, I actually play with my kids. I don't play down to them.
Right.
They have something creative they're trying to go for. How do I help them out with that creativity? I'm trying to do something creative. They've got creativity constantly. I've already hit my adult mind, so some of that creativity might have just.
Well, one of the things that I've talked with Joneser about on this very, very subject, he does play with his son Lyric, and they play different things. Masters of the Universe. They're playing Dick Tracy over there, which I think would be tons of fun. but he doesn't want to stifle his son's creativity or lead his son's creation with his adult mind. He allows his son to lead him, and he becomes the person who's playing along with his son, but not leading the play itself.
Yes.
And I'm sure that can be a challenge. I don't have that problem. I have no grandchildren yet, and I have a grown child who does play with toys, but she's grown, and we used to play when she was little, but we did play, but it wasn't the same as playing with a boy, let's just say. But and you've got girls too. You know exactly what I mean by that. You have to play in the way the girl wants to play, and or the child wants to play. So sometimes you're playing Barbie or something like that, or sometimes you may be playing. Sarah liked to play Masters of the Universe. I had vintage figures back in those days, and we did bring them out. And she has a partiality to my vintage Masters of the Universe figures. And one time she had them in her possession, and she may have them again in her possession now that all of them have been replaced with the Origins figures. But it was an interesting play pattern playing with her because she didn't play with the toys the way I would have. And as Joneser would say, it's all you can do to keep from saying that's not the way it's supposed to be. You just be quiet and try to play along with what they're doing and support what their play is. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. We were upstairs probably maybe about 4 hours ago. They're eating pizza upstairs, and my 9-year-old says, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to have a fashion show with my LOL dolls. You want to come help me set up the stage?" I'm like, "Let's go." So I mean, at the end of the day, you got to be the adult, but you've also got to let the adult go and just go with the flow.
Right. And I'll pause right here for just a second to let everyone know that's watching that my internet is also acting up. I'm sitting here looking at one bar, so if I turn into max headroom, you'll know why. I'm doing the best I can with what I have to work with. I think I have everything that would be interfering with that turned away, but my internet it rolls like this. You know how, and yours does the same thing. Let's see what Johnny just. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Duchess of Darkness says that's sweet, John. I guess playing LOL dolls. Uh, yeah, they didn't have such things as LOL dolls back in the mid '90s, but they did have Barbies, and we played Barbies. And I've got one for you. My daughter did not tell me about this back when we played Barbies together. This was told to me after the child is grown and told me the way she played with her Barbies when no adults around. And I blame my mother for this because my mother forced her to watch things like Days of Our Lives and other soap operas. So she had two G.I. Joe dolls. Now, they weren't vintage. They were the 12-inch that came out back in the late 80s. And one of them was a soldier. And he had on, I think it was Duke, if I'm not mistaken. He had on soldier's outfit, camouflage, helmet, 16 rifle. And the other one was the police officer, G.I. Joe doll, who had the standard police officer outfit, blue shirt, black pants, and ice cream man hat, and a whole bit. Okay. So Barbie was married to Soldier G.I. Joe. And when Soldier G.I. Joe would go on maneuvers, or he would go on a mission or whatever, and he would be away from home, Barbie would cheat on him with policeman G.I. Joe.
Oh, that's great.
That's and I'm like, where did you get this from? You were like 10, 11 years. She said, I was watching Days of Our Lives with Grandma. That makes sense. If Batman wants to have a tea party with Jim, that's his business. Yes, absolutely. Stay in your own lane, Johnny, and mind your own. Who wants to have? Hey, we got Judges of Darkness thinks that's hilarious too. Okay, we got pop actor Rick. Who are we beating up today? Well, the beatings will continue until morale improves. What is that all about? It's a bit of clickbait, in my opinion. Later on tonight, John, we're going to show one of those old 1950s educational videos from back in those days. And this one is not for students. This video was made to be shown to teachers to show them how to maintain classroom discipline. And I don't know if it would work in today's world, but I've seen both sides of this video, and the first side goes to the beatings will continue till morale improves, and the other side is how to do this correctly and get your classroom under control and be able to teach these students and not have them hate you and wish ill things about you and do things to make your life miserable. So it may be fun to watch. We'll see. Unfortunately, because of the hecticness of today, I have not had a chance to produce this show as normal. So it's going, well, as it should be. So it's going to be more like it normally is, haphazardly done and done on the fly. I have not had a chance to recut the video itself. It's in raw form, and I'm going to show it on the television, but I'm going to show it in this screen here that I'm sitting in. So I may not be able to riff on it. I may have to do a little jiggery pokery in order for my voice to be heard. We shall see. So you will be able to sit there and make all kinds of fun of this if you want to there, John. And of course, I always encourage the chat to play along too. Pop actor says, teachers have it harder today. God bless them. I agree with that. As a matter of fact, one of my fellow jurors was a teacher, and she's not one of these woke individuals that you see with multicolored hair and all kinds of metal in her face. She's actually what I call a normal and well balanced human being. But she was telling me that, and I did not realize this, corporal punishment has been abolished in the state of Mississippi, which I thought would never ever happen in a million years in schools. But it has also been abolished for parents as well at home in their home. And while I don't think that parents should beat their children by any means, I think that a spanking, I'm not talking about a beating, a spanking is justified in cases of willful disobedience. What is willful disobedience? Willful disobedience is, I know that this is wrong. Mama and daddy have told me not to do this. I choose to do it anyway. That is what is known as willful disobedience. That's when you disobey and know that you're disobeying and purposefully disobey. It justifies a paddling, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And that's the only time I ever paddled my child was for willful disobedience. And after the paddling was over with, we discussed why it happened, and we agreed that we still loved one another and that she had suffered her punishment and that she would do all in her power not to do said offense ever again. And I think that is true parenting there. Most people don't do it that way, I think, and that's part of the reason why things have gotten into the condition that they're in today. I could be wrong there, John. I don't know.
My opinion is they don't do it at all, because these youngins today have no respect for nobody.
I agree. And I will share this with everyone. And since we're on the beatings, will continue until morale improves. Something happened during the second day of being on the jury that was rather eye-opening in my opinion and shocking to some of my fellow jurors. We were given an instruction by the judge in this case, who is a wonderful individual. She was a lady judge, and figuratively speaking, just disconnected. So we'll wait for him to come back. Anyway, this judge had told the jury, which I was on, and some instructions. She said that we were not to bring our cell phones into the jury room, period. That we were not to engage in social media or attempt to find out anything about said trial, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, these instructions were given and they were very clear. And on the first day that we came back, here's John back again. So let me get him back up here where he belongs. Welcome back, John. Anyway, on the first day, well, it was actually the second day, but the first day of actual doing something related to the case, one of our jurors, a millennial, not a millennial, the Z, I think this one was born after the year of 2001. So that's Generation Z. This female individual blatantly had the cell phone in her hand up to her ear and using it in direct view of one of the bailiffs in the jury room. And this individual was then asked to come with the bailiff to the judge's chambers. The bailiff came back a few minutes later and asked if her keys and jacket were in there, and we said yes and handed them to the bailiff. And we never saw this individual again for the whole time of the trial. Found out later that the judge had jailed this individual across the street at the jailhouse, charged with disobeying her order or contempt of court. So after that, we made damn sure there wasn't no cell phones anywhere near that jury room. So, yep. Pop Actor Rick says, I'm with you, Bill. When I got a spank, I didn't do it twice. Absolutely. Johnny Sorensen said, cutting in line, that's a paddling. Talking out of turn, that's a paddling. Cussing, you bet that's a paddling. Yeah, when I was in school, they paddled you. They take you out there in the hall and give you 3 licks and bring you back in the room. I don't know if they did that in your day, John, but they certainly did in mine.
Well, I had the displeasure of being in a Catholic school.
Oh my God, you were beaten by nuns.
And the nuns at our school would either have us stand with kneel with encyclopedias in a corner, held straight out like this, 2 or 3 at a time.
Done something similar to that.
And I always had the one old nun that was a teacher, and she didn't play no games with any of that. You're not going to do all that. She'd take that yardstick and put it across both sets of knuckles.
Kind of reminds you of what happened to the Blues Brothers as they were trying to escape from their old teacher and they were trapped in those desks. I think I remember the punishment of having to stand with your arms straight out like this right here with books in either arm. I also know this didn't happen in high school. This was elementary school, but I can remember that we had a chalk blackboard. There weren't no such things as dry erase boards in those days, but I remember the chalk blackboard. The teacher would draw a circle, and you had to go and you had to put your nose in that circle and stand up there in front of the whole classroom with your nose in the circle, listening to little Johnny and little Sally giggling at your butt up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop Actor Rick said, I had a nun as a teacher. She slapped me once on the hand with a ruler. I wasn't paying attention. I've heard of the ruler slap in the hand bit with the nuns. We didn't have that. We had what was known as the Board of Education, and it was applied very thoroughly to the seat of understanding. and said board was a paddle. It was shaped like, a paddle, and had the handle on it. And for some reason, they always wrapped masking tape all the way around that, all the way to the top. And the coach had drill holes drilled in the top of his, supposedly so that you could get the airflow through there to get a better whack. I don't know, but when we watch our video, there won't be any corporal punishment in that. But I do find it interesting that there are ways in which to gain control over a classroom that work in ways that tend to make things even worse than they already are. And that's kind of what the video is going to be about. But the beating shall continue until morale improves is when we just start heaping punishment on people, thinking that the punishment itself is going to make things improve. In other words, you're going to be happy and you're going to enjoy what we're going to do under pain of death, as Ming the Merciless may say. So that doesn't work. So that's what today's shows me. That lets y'all know. But right now we were talking about toys. Let us return to that for a little while. Are you getting a Snake Mountain, buddy? You got one of those orders?
Yes, that was my second pre-order that hit this Saturday. So between Snake Mountain and like 9 other characters from Motu, yes.
When we were piled up over there in the green room, and Joneser's not with us today, as you may well have figured out by now, folks. I don't know if I touched on that earlier or not, but he's been very, very busy at work, and he was wiped out, tired. He came in to visit for a second or two in the green room to wish us all luck, and then he headed off to the La La Land to go sleep it off. So I understand. But while he was in here, you showed off some pieces of artwork that we found very interesting. And I'm going to pull you over to here and bring you up so that we can see you better. And hopefully we can see this artwork on the screen. That is a beautiful picture. And everybody in here may have seen a version of this picture before. It was on DeviantArt, if I'm not mistaken. But what did you do to make it look like this?
Well, what I had my coworker do for this, he likes to do a lot of Japanese anime. So what I asked him to do with this was kind of go with the flow of the picture done by DeviantArt. I got stuff in my way, excuse me. But I asked him to make it his own and also do it kind of sort of in the Japanese anime because a lot with Japanese anime, the colors just pop. And of course, the way that he did this, he's got another one that he did, and this is why I wanted him to do this one, is because he don't just draw this and he don't just color it. He uses I guess kind of like a wooden toothpick type thing that he etches as he's going. So this actually has a full texture. You can feel you can feel the spire, you can feel the scales in the snake, you can feel the teeth at the top. He put a whole lot of work into this, and if the question is, well, how long did it take him to do this? And be honest with you, it took him 2.5 weeks.
And that, to me, sounds like that he was working expeditiously as well in order to get it done in that short of a period of time.
Yes.
Something of that nature, to me, I think would take a longer period of time. I'm no artist or anything, but if I were to try to attempt to do something like this, it would take me months.
Yes.
So that attests to his skill as well. So, and there was another picture that you showed that I found fascinating.
So as I had him do me the Snake Mountain, this was the first that he did for me, also from DeviantArt. This is the Earth Eternia crumbling under Castle Grayskull.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is also textured in that very same. I didn't necessarily want him to have the exact same picture as to the picture that I sent him.
Right.
I wanted him to also make it his own. Now it's exactly accurate to the picture with this and the breaking of Castle Grayskull coming off.
Pretty much the layout, in other words.
Yes, the colors and what brought me to it again. When I first looked at it, I was like, "Wow!" because it really pops out at you. And that's because of the texture that he uses with that wood pencil going in. You could feel every piece of that rock. You could feel the fluffiness kind of in the sky. There's a sky texture back here, which is like clouds. And then as you're going through, you can actually feel the painting.
Which means that we're not getting the full benefit of how beautiful this picture is just by looking at this image on our screens. Actual being in the presence of this picture says way much more. And the storyline here that we're seeing of the ground beneath Castle Grayskull has collapsed, and now Grayskull is kind of hovering there in the air. Is that from a storyline that's in a comic book or storybook or something that you've read recently?
Now, as far as me reading recently, no. So I'm not sure exactly where this comes off as far as the storyline behind it. I don't know if it's part of New Eternia. I know it's nothing that would be canon as far as the Marvel comics, the DC comics, the new Image comics, any of that new Dark Horse comics. I haven't seen it in any of the mini comics.
No, not in the original storyline. I don't think it was in the ones that were in classics either. So, I know that the New Eternia storyline is being told basically on the box art. You look on the back of the box and you see the story of the character that's being it's in the figure box, and it reveals parts of this New Eternia storyline. And I don't know if there's a comic out about that or not. And I will throw that at the chat and also at people who are rewatching this stream who may be commenting in the comments below. Please do let us know what this is about and start a discussion on that. That would be great, and it would help the algorithm. And while I am thinking of that, let me move myself over here and self-promote just slightly here. If you guys would hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell, it would certainly help my channel to grow, and I appreciate that. And let's move us back side by side here so we can talk a little bit more. I'm reluctant unless you say it's okay to name your exact place of employment, but you are employed in a store that sells merchandise at a cheaper price than other places. And there's a toy aisle in said store. Do you ever go and peruse that? And is there anything over there that has piqued your interest?
Well, I do, and I'm glad you said that because there's actually a few things that have not hit our shelves yet, and I'm not really too much at liberty to say because I don't know if it's going to be a core item, and I don't know if it's just a seasonal item. As fortunately and unfortunately at the same time, I know we're not even into Thanksgiving, Halloween yet, whatever, but we just set up Christmas.
Yeah. Well, that's the way things go. So y'all have already done the Christmas reset, is what you're telling me.
Yes. So right now, what I have been collecting a lot more of is the little $10, $11 Transformers, They are from Hasbro.
And they're not knockoff Transformers. These are real Transformers he's talking about. I do believe that might be Optimus Prime there, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
by the coloring.
Yep,
And
this is Optimus.
and these look like toys that are very toyetic. These look like toys that a child would actually want to play with instead of a delicate action figure that an adult would want to put upon display and not play with.
Yes. My girls like playing with them all the time. Just to say, as far as what they are, these I would consider to be a starter Transformer.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a whole lot of transforming to do, and once you've done it once, you could pretty much do it again over and over. Some of them.
What age are you saying? Maybe 5 or 4 or even younger?
With these, most of them, I think they're 5+.
Okay.
And that's just due to the nature of them being all on ball, kind of like the necks for Masters of the Universe, things like that. So the parts do come apart not easily. You have to put some pressure behind them to get it to come apart. But at the end of the day, yeah.
Hey, Melvor, good to have you here. Melvor says he likes Transformers. So what is the price? What's the price point on these? Just real quick there.
The price point on these are like $10.
That's not bad, really, and for today's world. I mean, gee whiz, folks, I know that when we were kids, we were buying toys for $1.50, $2, $3 for an action figure. That ain't today's world, and it ain't going to get any better with the prices going up the way they are, and everything plastic being made of petroleum products, and petroleum being the prices that it is. The prices just have to increase, and as much as we hate it, and as much as we bitch and moan about it, it just it's a truism that there's nothing we can do about. So I think $10 for a toy of this size is probably about what it's going to cost. I mean, gee whiz, we're buying a Superpowers action figure from McFarlane Toys for $10, and it's a lot smaller than that, and it doesn't do nearly as much as that does.
No, not at all.
And it has a lot of play value from what I can see there with you transforming it and playing with it here with us today. So there are those. Are there now? There's a toy line that Grindhead Jim discovered, and that Wilhelm Toy and Hobby talks about sometime in his show called the Final Faction. Y'all don't carry that in your particular store. That's the other one, right?
That is Dollar Tree. However, because of what it is, that is a Dollar Tree line. Us being Dollar General, we'd be breaking some laws or something. I don't know.
Oh, so it's an exclusive line for Dollar Tree, is what you're saying that goes there. Do y'all have?
Yeah, it was actually created by an employee of Dollar Tree.
Okay, I did not know that. Okay, that's a piece of trivia there that I didn't know. Wilhelm probably has told me that before, and it went in one ear and out the other. And I'm sorry about that. I apologize, Wilhelm, if you're listening to this, that I didn't catch that. But that's new to me and interesting. So, do y'all have anything similar, Leinert or anything like that? No,
not that I've seen.
What I have seen in the one that's here in town are the I guess they're 4-inch or 3. They're not 3 3/4. I think they're a little taller than that. Marvel action figures that are kind of what 5 points of articulation: arms, legs, head.
Yeah, I see, what I should have did when I seen them when they came in. I should have grabbed the whole case.
Right.
and hit it in the back and then bought it.
Right.
And I didn't do that, but I kind of wish I would have, because there's like 12 characters that, and there's like,
That's a lot. That's a lot. Is that one wave or two?
that is 2 waves, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. And do you remember what some of the figures were of?
Let's see. I know they're all Marvel, so I know it was every member of the original Avengers: Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, and of course we got the villains. Loki is in that set. Of course, we got Captain America. What was the other one I just seen?
Spider-Man, of course, I would think would have been in that wave.
Spider-Man is in the wave. I think he's actually wave 2. Black Panther is also wave 2.
Is Thanos?
But yeah, I mean, there's enough there that like just keep you busy thinking like.
That's quite a bit of figures, and the price point on those is probably, I would think, around what, $10,
$5,
$5,
$5.
And then those are substantial figures that can be played with by a child as well, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, I'm not expecting anyone here to collect that kind of stuff, but it's worth looking at, in my opinion, for one particular reason. I think that these types of figures are probably the future of toys in general. And I'm talking about when those of us who are in Generation X, who most of what you see on the action figure aisle is actually for, are gone, and those toys are no longer being produced. There we go. Final Faction. So you do collect Final Faction figures?
I own the entire set right now.
Really? And there is a storyline that goes with that. I don't know if they're comic books, but I know that there's some sort of cartoon series here on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a cartoon series on YouTube. I'm not sure what episode they're on now. I'll have to go back and look. Last time I seen it, it was episode 4. So there might have been an episode or 2 that came out in the past couple of months that I ain't been on.
All right. Now these Final Faction figures are articulated like old time GI Joe figures. Are they O-rings?
From what I've seen, they're O-rings, and they have the kind of like the old rubber bands, like they did in Masters Vintage.
Okay, yeah, and they're very GI Joe like, in that each character has all kinds of accessories that goes with them as well, and they have vehicles, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and all kinds of stuff like that. And I don't know if there's a play set, but there might be little mini play sets that may go with these.
I haven't seen the play set, so what I've done with mine is I do have I went on Amazon and I grabbed the mountain place.
That old mountain. Tim T, I think it makes that. Is that the one you're coming? Yes, I know. Yes. It comes in 2 or 3 different colors: brown and gray and maybe black or something like that. If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, those figures to me are like, the price point is like excellent. I mean, it's like really affordable. It's like what mom could actually buy a child to shut him up in the store. Unlike action figures that's in Walmart over an action figure aisle, more like the liner action figures, if you remember those guys that you see at Walmart sometimes. But yeah, this is wonderful, and like I said, this I think is where it's going to go when we're not here anymore. That's what the toys are going to be like. It's almost like history coming back around again. I mean, of course, they don't look like as military accurate as a GI Joe figure, but they are colored in such a way that children would enjoy playing with them, for lack of a better term. What do you think? Am I on something there?
No, you are. I mean, because you know what literally drew me to the entire Final Action line, because I seen it on the shelf from day one when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't mess with it. I didn't mess with it. And here I go. I start working for Dollar Tree at that point. And now, because it's in my face, it's a daily temptation. I started off buying the main characters, being the aliens, which is the Karn, and then buying the human counterpart to that of Who's Left on Earth. So at that point, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, well, here's what really drew me to it. It wasn't just necessarily the people, it's got some articulation to it, but it was the accessory packs.
Mm-hmm.
They have anywhere right now as it sits, there are 65 different accessory packs, and you've got the Elite Force, you've got the what I'm now going to consider being the Vintage Force, which is Wave 1, going into now what's Wave 5 or 6 for this, but now you got the Elites, and all it is, the different repaint, it's the same character, but you got a few extra new vehicles, you got a few extra new critters, whatnot, in which another thing that I love about the Karn, and particularly their critters, they mold well to Origins or even your Vintage 5.5. They scale very well with.
You know, I've often said this in the past that Mattel could basically print money if they would release accessory packs for Motu. I'm talking heads, hands, feet, harnesses, weapons, just packs. They did this back in the vintage days with the vintage weapon pack. Make the different colors of the stuff. Put this stuff out and release weapons pack. You don't have to put it in Walmart or Target. Put it on freaking Mattel Creations. That's where it's going anyway. Why not?
Well,
I would buy the shit out of that. I would be willing to spend my money to buy that, just to buy extra accessories to customize figures with.
absolutely.
And I don't know why they haven't done that, or why they haven't released weapons that don't come with a figure that you're not going to get anywhere else except in the weapons pack. Like a Skeletor axe that's like He-Man's axe, but it's got a big old crystal ball on the end of it. Would you buy something like that?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I would beg them to take my money if they had something like that for sale.
So here's something that I've started doing now that I'm really starting to get into building new customs. So I am now shamelessly addicted to Temu. If y'all know what that app is, it's a mobile app. It's sort of kind of like Wish. It's sort of kind of like those other entities, whatnot, whatever. However, they've got some really good prices, and some of the things that they sell I find to be pretty cool quality. So I got these keychains from there, and I've got the keychains are swords, but they're done in a die-cast metal.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got swords now that I'm going to start using in my keychain swords that I'm going to start using in my customs, mostly because they're more in scale with my Masterverse.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got one in particular keychain that is made a certain kind of way. So this is Triclops' sword.
Okay.
just the way that it's made. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go grab one.
Sure. I'll be glad to do that. And while he's doing that, folks, let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we will be back right after these messages.
Introducing Popeye's all-new comic strip glasses, featuring Popeye, olive oil, sweet tea, and that old Buddha soup. They're yours to keep when you buy a 69-cent soft drink. You can collect a different glass each week. Stop by Popeye's for all-new comic strip glasses. Yours to keep when you buy a 69-cent soft drink.
Hubba Bubba Bubblegum comes through again with a fresh new flavor. Strawberry flavor Hubba Bubba. It's soft, juicy, delicious, and lets you blow amazing no-stick bubbles that won't stick to your face.
Hubba Bubba, come through again with strawberry.
Big bubbles, no trouble.
Hubba Bubba Bubblegum.
Say, has you heard the news? Yeah,
I want to tell him. I want to tell him.
Gentlemen, the news is riveting, absolutely riveting.
What the boys are trying to say is that Parker Brothers Popeye, Cubert, and Frogger are not only available for the Atari 2600, but for the Commodore 64 home computer, Atari 5200, and ColecoVision. About as close to real arcade graphics and action as you can get.
One thing I hate such a pushkin outskirt. Popeye, Cubert,
And Frogger.
also for all Commodore, Atari systems, and TI. Now's your nose.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
Underoos!
Well, wobble my webs. It's a real change of underwear.
Wearing underoos is fun. And you can choose from more than one. There's Hulk, Fred Flintstone, and the Flash. Superman. Spider-Man. The things that smash. Underoos are fun to wear. Yeah, something super new in underwear. Da-da-da-da-da. You'll find the underoos display where you buy underwear. It's underwear that's fun to wear.
What's that he's got hiding? Up his sleeve. It's a neat wrist racer that's built for speed.
Wrist racers, you start them with a twist. You can rev them, you can race them, right from your wrist.
Wrist racers. They're race sets you wear on your wrist.
Wrist racers, you start them with a twist. You can rev them, you can race them, right from your wrist. Wrist racers.
Wrist racers come complete with racer, wristband, ramp, launch pad.
We're back, and I saw John down there a minute ago, and then he went off camera again. So I don't know if he found everything he was looking for. There he is.
I did not find the ones that the other ones that I'm looking for, but I did find two that I'm going to use with. I am going to use this with Jitsu, and I am going to use this with another figure. So these chains.
Wow. And you said those are die-cast metal.
These are die-cast metal.
How heavy are they, and can the figures hold them without it weighing their arm down to the point where they can't be articulated?
Yes. Yeah. It's really just a light die cast.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the most weight of it is literally in the hilt.
Where it should be.
And just the way that they have designed these.
I like that.
They're so spectacular. I mean, and then when you look at the normal weapon size as far as Masterverse, it fits right in scale.
Okay.
And
so these are Masterverse scale swords.
yes, very much so, 6-inch. I've got a few of my. Well, I got this one over the past week, Hulk Hogan from Rattlesnake Mountain.
Okay.
And so I have not tried these actually in a Origins-like type figure. and yeah,
Kind of
he's
looks
just
like it might work.
it's close, but to get him to actually grip it, you've got to force it.
I see that. Well, and now I know that the newer WWE Superstars figures have included the new gripper hand that's a little more open than that molded
Yes.
hand that holds a sword. So that might work a little better, but it's about the size of, well, I know Scott Hall comes with a can of spray paint, so he can spray paint NWO on Hulk Hogan's belt. So, you know, that gives you an idea of the size there at the what is it 1/12 scale.
Yes. I mean, but it's amazing artwork for $1 and some change for.
And where you get, is this some online source that you're getting these from?
Yeah, the source is Temu, Temu.
Temu. All right.
They're all over the internet. But
Temu.
Temu, yes, sir. Should be like a little orange box.
Yeah. Explore the latest clothing, beauty, home, and jewelry. I'll throw the link to the main site here on the chat real quick, and we'll see if we can't find the swords readily available on that site. You look up what
Yes.
sword keychain.
Yes. So you'd look up sword keychains. Look at the other two that I've got. I got a Thundercats Sword of Omens done in silver. I've got a Sword of Omens done in gold. And then the other one that I've got has a green jewel in the vestibule of the sword hilt. And at the bottom also has the same green crystal inside of it. So that's the one that reminds me of Triclops. And it's done with silver on the sword blade and just gold out the hilt. It's freaking gorgeous.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and show the search result on that in the chat too. This is a long URL, so you guys, if you're on the phone, I don't know if this is going to be clickable or not. You may have to cut and paste this off of a computer, but let me copy that and throw that down there in the chat real quick. And of course, this is just the main search. You would have to go through that search page and look for what he's talking about, but I think that would cover just about everything that there is on there. So yeah, it was so long that it got put into 2 posts there. That's a long thing. So I would suggest just going to temu.com up there and just putting in sword keychains and going from there. And I'm sure that everyone here has enough detective skills to find these things at this point.
Yes.
So there you have it, folks, and that's amazing, and it's an idea for me as well, because I may want to go over there and get some swords that are made of metal. And of course, this stuff would also, I would think, work with NECA as well. If you're buying, like, say, the D&D line from them. I took you off of that big screen too soon, didn't I? What do we have here, there, John?
This is Masters of the Universe Classics. This is Light Hope.
Okay. And he's holding one of those sword keychains.
Very easily.
And of course, with a pair of needle nose pliers, you can take the keychain off of that if you so desire, and not have that aesthetic on there if you choose.
So this is what I was actually intending to do. So when I do this, I'm going to take this off, but I want to keep these chain links. So the chain links I can actually start making in some of my other clothing and armor and stuff that I'm doing.
Absolutely. And I would do that. I would save those chain links and make accessory chains to go on my figures as well. That's a great idea. Yeah. I like that. good customization tips here, and good place to grab some stuff for customs, folks. Think you're frozen there, John.
Yo, I think I am.
While we wait on him to catch up with us real quick, I'm going to take myself into full screen, even though you're still here, John, and I want to promote this real quick. Between now and Halloween, I'm going to give everyone a chance to get in on this giveaway that we're going to be doing around Halloween time. We recently did a giveaway not too long ago of the Supermobile, and what was the figure that I gave away? It was one of the snake. It was King Hiss. So King Hiss and Supermobile gave away on our Wheel of Fortune giveaway show last Sunday, and the people who won those items have gotten them. And I've contacted with Sir Clifton won the Supermobile, and Ozzy over there at Ostradamus Toys won the King Hiss, and they have received their items. And but what we're going to be giving away here around Halloween time, we're going to give away Robin from McFarlane Superpowers, and we're going to be giving away a Mossman collector's edition Mossman from the Master Universe Origins, and these are brand new figures, have never been opened. This Mossman is unpunched and not opened, and to get in on this giveaway, folks, this is what I want you to do. Go to Weird Fantastic Toys at gmail.com. Once again, Weird Fantastic Toys at gmail.com. Send an email. Separate emails for the separate figures. So if you want to enter the giveaway for Robin, the email would be subject line contest Robin, and in the body you would put your name or the name you want to appear on the screen and your mailing address. If you want to enter the contest for Mossman, send the email to weirdfantastictoys at gmail.com. Put contest Mossman in the subject line, and in the body your name and address. Please include the name that you want me to put on the screen, even if you put the name that you want me to put on the package. That way I'll put a name on the screen that you're willing to let people have. I don't want to dox anybody by accident on this. If you are not in the continental USA, you may enter the contest, but you will have to cover shipping. I will eat the shipping if you're in continental USA. I will release a video in the upcoming days before this contest happens with all of these specifics in it for those who choose to enter. And once again, right quick, I'm going to get down here into the chat and put in the email address so that you guys will have it there for you to use. But here's the email address, and I got you back up, John. You're back on screen, buddy.
Hey.
Weird Fantastic Toys at gmail.com. I think I spelled that right. I think it's ready to go. It's down there in the live chat for those of you who wish to enter the contest. I do have some entries in that contest from last week when I first announced it. Those who wanted to entered. One email for each, and yes, you can send me 2 emails and enter the contest for both if you wish. That's fine. I'll have no problem with that. But what I don't want is one email saying that you're entering both contests. There's a reason for that. It's to help me when I get ready to set either the duck races or wheels or whatever we're going to do to determine the winners up, so that I don't have to search too hard to get everybody on these wheels. I want everybody to have equal chances to win, and I want those who want the toys to enter. So that's why I'm doing this in 2 separate ways. So if you want the toy, enter the contest. And I don't care if you want to resell it or give it to somebody else, but I just want you to want the toy. If you don't want the toy or it's not something that you choose to have and you just don't want to bother with it, don't bother entering a contest for something you don't want. And I especially don't want somebody to go, okay, I won the contest, but I don't want you to send me the toy, send it to blah blah blah. That's sweet, it's nice and everything. Let blah 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 enter the contest and get a chance to win it, and you just not enter the contest. How about it that way? Do it that way. But I want whoever gets the toy to be the one that I actually send it to, because that's my goal here. It's my point. So, are you doing anything similar over there on your channel? Are you thinking about something like that there, John?
I actually am. I am going to be doing a giveaway very, very soon on 2 separate giveaways, actually, because I have doubles.
Hang on just a second there, John. Screw Your Feelings says he loved that Popeye commercial and wanted those glasses. I remember those glasses. I didn't have them, but I sure wished I had them. And Pop Actor Rick was saying that they're going to do a Popeye movie in 2024.
I've heard about that.
That scares me just a little bit. Don't ruin Popeye for me. Popeye is one of my favorite characters. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I love Popeye so much. I actually have him tattooed here on my arm. I don't know if you can see that or not, but and Robin Williams as Popeye, the child memory. I actually liked that, and there was a reason why I liked it. A lot of people didn't understand what was going on in that Popeye movie with Robin Williams. That whole storyline in that movie was based directly upon E.C. Seeger's original comic strip storyline, not the cartoons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And if you want to get a little more into that, and it's kind of funny, both versions of this are available here on the channel. I did a live stream spotlight on Popeye with my unmasked maniac friend Johnny Sorensen, who did an excellent hard amount of work to make those slides for that. And I screwed everything up by showing a full episode of Popeye the Sailor Man from the 1970s that got the channel blocked for a minute until that I stopped it. And of course I had to cut all of that out, and I didn't know how to do it right and I ended up having 2 versions of the same live stream, one over there on videos and the other back over here on live streams. But I don't care which one you watch, but if you want to find out a little more about Popeye, that's the one to see. The cartoon stuff is cut out of it, but that doesn't matter. It just makes it easier to watch. The new movie they made, Popeye Rip, probably you won't like it, Bill. Have you seen the pictures that have circulated online that are the realistic Popeye pictures that Popeye's got tattoos all over his body and he looks like he's roided out and everything? I think that's what he's saying that they're going to make it like.
Oh.
No, you froze again there, John. All right, so John was going to tell us something that I was going to get back onto, but I'll have to wait for him to catch back up. He may have to stop and restart as a result of that. But here he's moving again. He moved a little bit. There he is. All right, are you caught back up, John?
Yeah, I think I am.
Okay. All right. Let me get you over here where we can see what you got in your hand there. Go over there. There we go. There we go.
As one of my giveaways, I have a Cobra Commander that I will be giving away on my channel very soon. But I also have something else which I love because these were my favorite 2 twins.
Oh, Tomax and Zaymot.
And I've got doubles of them, so just as I've got doubles of Cobra Commander, so I don't need doubles. I don't know how I ordered doubles of both, but I did, and well, somebody's going to get lucky. So,
have you figured out how you're going to have them enter yet, or is that something that we need to stay tuned to figuratively speaking to find out?
I think that's going to be something to stay tuned, figuratively speaking. Again, I've got a few things that I have that I'm going to start giving away. And of course, my lady told me after I have all my pre-orders done from BBTS, I'm done for a minute.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat you are on that. I talked about this a little bit last week, and I might have discussed it on a couple other shows or touched on it. I'm getting to the point where in Motu, especially with Motu Origins, that I've got everything that I think I really want. And none of this stuff is needs, so we're not even going to use that word, folks. These are all wants. Needs are food, shelter, the things that we need to live, and toys are not that, but they are wants.
This was a need.
Well, I'm glad that I was involved in helping you get that particular need there. But anyway,
that's off my bucket list, Bill.
Yeah, and you didn't have to pay for that either, which I'm happy that it went to a place where it needed to go. It needed to go there. It may not have been a true need, but it needed to go where it went. Let's just say, folks. But anyway, I've got to the point on Motu Origins. I'm not particularly itching to buy any of this stuff that's coming out now. I'm looking forward to maybe some of the figures that came out in the original vintage line. Rio Blast being the main one that I've got my radar on, seeing hoping that will someday be released. But some of this other stuff, I don't knock anybody that wants it. Hey, go get what you want. I know that recently they put up a poll talking about new sets. There you go, Fangor. Yeah, I don't particularly care about Fangor, but if you want him and that's something that you want, hey, I'm happy for you. So they're still talking about Popeye over there. Screw Your Feelings says, there's a new Popeye movie come out? Probably, yeah, Screw Your Feelings. Yeah, they made him shredded to the bone. Okay, it may be worth it. I mean, give it a chance. I mean, I might watch it when it comes to streaming. I'm probably not going to spend my money at movie theater for it. I don't spend my money at movie theater for anything anymore. Yes, Rio Cyclone, too bad, Multibot, and after that, I can sleep better and not worry about that the line is ending. It is going to end, but I think they're going to extend it for as long as they can over on Creations. There was a poll recently, I don't know if you saw that, figuratively speaking, where they put up 4 or 5 different toys, and you could vote for 2 of them for the next crowdfund released. One of them being the Fright Zone, one of them being a Filmation accurate attack track, the big one, folks, the one that 2 people can sit in and there's a back in it. There's a guy over on Etsy who makes those as a 3D print, selling them for $400 or $500, which is probably worth that if he's actually 3D printing that big old thing. But they put that up where they do the Filmation Fright Zone, which they're calling Hordax Tower. And there's the new play set that's more like Snake Mountain, but for the snake creatures called the Snake Lair.
That's the one I voted on.
You voted for the Snake Lair. Okay. Grindhead Jim and I both did the same thing independently. I had no idea what he was voting for. He had no idea what I was voting for. But I voted for Fright Zone for the particular reason that set probably needs to be released to those who want to get it. It was a vintage set. Everything vintage needs to be released in the Origins line before anything else, in my opinion, and that would be one of those. The other one that he voted for was the same thing I voted for, was the Filmation attack track, and it's simply because of the novelty of such a thing. People have been wanting this for forever, and we wanted to give Mattel the indication that there are those of us who would want such a thing. and that they need to keep that on their radar and not think, okay, nobody voted for this, let's put this off of our radar. It needs to stay on their radar. So that's why I voted for the two things that I did. Now, do I think that the snake layer needs to come out before the attack track? Yes, I do. Okay. And even though there was never such a thing as a snake layer in the past, this is a toyetic play set well within the lines of a Castle Grayskull or a Snake Mountain. But for the Snake Men, we need to kick the damn Snake Men out of Snake Mountain. They have no business being in Snake Mountain. Okay, that's Skeletor's house. They need their own house to live in, and that would be the snake lair. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, my thoughts, even though I really do like the snake lair, and that is what I voted on, I think you could also say that the snake lair has also already been built as a playset. Dungeons and Dragons. They did a snake lair themselves.
Fortress of Fangs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And yeah, I have not, that thought had never occurred to me until as soon as you said that, my mind went, God damn, the Fortress of Fangs. And yes, and it's probably scaled close enough to where you could play with that play set with either the Hasbro cartoon figures or even the NECA releases of the LJN figures that they're doing, Strongheart and Warduke. I have Warduke already. I have Strongheart is sitting in my pile of loot ready to come to me when I get enough loot in there to make it worth my while. I did not buy Zarak, I think was the Orc Assassin. I didn't buy him. I'm thinking about it, but I've got to keep my purchases in control here. If they release Melf/Powerlay the Elf, or they release the Elkhorn the Dwarf, or they release either one of those evil magic those magic users, the evil one Kellic or the good one Ringelrun, I'm going to be hard pressed. I'm going to be really hard pressed. Even Mercion the Cleric, which I never had, and I found out that they actually did release in the actual 3 3/4 inch toy line. They never released Skyla, who is the evil sorceress, but they did do her in the small plastic figurines. Have you ever seen those?
I have not.
Oh, I have a treat for you because I can see them right over here. I have a little box here that I've had them in since I bought them. I'm going to pull myself up where we can see these folks, and I'm going to do them on this camera here. Here we have Strongheart. See if we can see them. Okay.
Yeah, those are about the same size as some of my D&D figures.
They're a little bit bigger than 25 millimeter figures. They're plastic. Okay. They have bases on them. They're pre-painted, and they came in blister packs back in the day when the LJN figures were on the shelves. Okay. Here is Ringelrun.
Oh, that's nice.
Here is Elkhorn Dwarf. Let me get him up here where you can see him. Did they release Parlay/Melf the Elf in this size? I've never seen it, but they did do Elkhorn the Dwarf. And actually, these little figures are a little more detailed than the action figures were, even though they're smaller. And they were a little larger than the, like I said, the 25 millimeter metal figures that we played with when we played Dungeons and Dragons. But I had no problem with putting these in a game. I can tell you that now. There is Zarak, the evil half-orc assassin. And he's a little bit more. Yeah, he looks. I think he looks a ton better than the actual figure did, which was you know. And then, of course, here's one of my favorites. This old evil feller here, Kellic, the evil sorcerer there with his robe and his staff in his hand. He doesn't have his magic wand in the other hand, but he does have that distinctive staff with the wings, bat wings at the top.
I love that very intricate detail that they got in there as far as the plastic and how they got it engraved.
Now here is a figure that should have been released in the action figure line. This is Skyla, the evil sorceress. And her hair is actually silver. Okay, that is a silver color, not gray, not white. It's silver.
That's
very
fantastic.
beautiful figure. And those are the figures that I had. And like I said, I never saw Powerlay or Mel. He was released under both names, if you guys remember that. Never saw that figure. Mercion the cleric, I never saw her in this small line, but I've these are the figures that I'm aware that they actually made, and I actually bought them back in those days on those blister packs, and I've kept them in this little box, which this is what checks used to come in. Kids, I know y'all don't know what checks are, but us old people, we remember writing checks, okay? So your checkbooks would come in these little boxes right here.
So what year did those come out?
What year was the LJN figures come out? 1983, 2, around He-Man time? Was that about
in there? Yeah.
They came out at the very same time as the action figures did. They were a smaller price point figure that probably would have been above the action figures or below the action figures in the planogram on the shelf. Yeah. So I thought you guys would get a kick out of that since we were talking about it, and John had never seen them before. So I might have put a bug on John. He might want to hit the Evil Bay or wherever he goes and take a look at what they're worth. Of course, you know, the carded going to be worth more than loose, but I think they probably are still reasonably priced. I know the last time I looked, the action figures were even reasonably priced if you're willing to go with loose. Carded, a little more expensive, but that's the way it goes. And we know how Evil Bay works. You don't look at the price that you see, you look at the price plus shipping, Jack, because that's where people make their money back, is by upping that shipping price to a ridiculous price. But yeah, I kind of have a special place in my heart for the Dungeons and Dragons action figure line, LJN. And a story that I'll tell real quickly about Fortress of Fangs. The Fortress of Fangs set was released at the end of the line right before it was canceled.
Right.
So it kind of, an analogy to that would be Cyborg in the Superpowers line. Okay. It's there, but there wasn't a whole lot of them. It's like an Eternia play set. Okay. They made it, it was released, but there weren't enough of them for everybody who wanted one to get one.
Right.
Mother did not buy a lot of my toys from a store that had them on shelf. She bought them through the Sears and Roebuck or the JCPenney catalog on layaway so that she could pay for them over time and by Christmas have them paid off and have Christmas for us. And I think that needs to come back, because we're going to get to the point where we're not going to afford to have Christmas if we don't have something like that available to us. But get off that subject. Mother ordered the Fortress of Fangs set for me along with the action figures. The action figures I got. JCPenney or Spiegel or Sears and Roebuck or whoever it was that she ordered it from informed her that the Fortress of Fangs set was unavailable. I did not get that. And I never saw one on the shelf anywhere. that we were able to go to buy such things. And the small figures that I just showed, the figurines, I bought those myself with my own lawnmower money when I was a kid. I found them somewhere, and I got one at a time, but I was able to get them all before they all got sold out. I don't know if they did or not. That's too far away to remember. But I'm just saying, I bought those myself. But yeah, that has a special place in my heart. And like I said, as they're re-releasing these figures as fully articulated, I guess they're 7-inch figures here from or 6-inch or 7-inch. I can't remember, from NECA. I think it's doing these. Yeah, it's NECA, licensed by Wizards of the Coast. As these are coming out, I bought this one. I bought the Strongheart. I've got it's on my pile of loot. I didn't buy Zarak. The other one, I didn't even know who that was. That sword, Grim Sword, or whatever his name was. I didn't even know who that was. I don't remember that figure at all. But I passed on Zarak because, as you were saying, I have reached a point to where I have to control my spending. Right now, I did a naughty thing and went over to McFarlane Toys, and I pre-ordered the Whirly Bat. I pre-ordered the 3-pack with Peacemaker in it with the Adrian Chase Vigilante and Judo Master in it. I don't care about either one of those figures, but the Peacemaster, the only way to get him is to get the other two. Thank you, Todd Father. And I pre-ordered the black Estrella looking Batman. Yeah. Because we all wanted that Batman back in the day. Hey, what's up, Zazel? He says, what's up, cool dudes? What's up there, legend? Glad to have you in the house today, Zazel. Anyway, I pre-ordered all that. I didn't order the darker colored Flash repaint, which I think Jim did because he said it reminded him of John Wesley's ship Flash from the old Flash television show. Makes me kind of want to go back and order it, but I better be good. I ordered the repaint Robin with the darker colors and the black cape. It's the same. It's a repaint of this figure I just showed that we're going to do on giveaway.
Yep, the Tim Drake.
Yeah, it's just got a more maroon colored red, and it's got a more darker green in it, and instead of a yellow cape, it's got a black cape. Todd, if Cape Master can make double-sided capes, and they made double-sided capes back in the Kenner days, you too can make double-sided capes with a black on the outside and a yellow on the inside. And yes, Cape Master, I'm going to make a new order for another Robin cape just for that Robin. Thank you, Sergeant Slaughter. He says, don't forget to hit the like button, folks. Do that, please. And fill up the comment box with comments. I don't care what you comment. I really don't, as long as it's not ugly and not curse wordsies. If you say, Bill, your show sucks, that's fine. That's interaction. If you say, Bill, I enjoyed the show, that's fine. That's interaction. I disagree with your points, Bill, on blah, blah, blah. That's fine. That's interaction. If you do it in an ugly way, that's fine. That's interaction. I will say thank you for watching the show. If you say it in a way in which you want a response from me, you may or may not get that response, but I'll probably like it and heart it. So all the responses that I get are going to help this channel in the algorithm because it shows interaction. So liking, commenting, notification bells are important so that you can know when I drop videos and when I go live. Make sure you hit all notifications. That's important. And do that for figuratively speaking, and all the people that are in here who have channels, do that for them as well so that we can all help one another. So what have you got on pre-order, and how much are you going to, so close to 1K subs? Yes, I am very close and getting almost closer to 800. I think we might have a little bit of celebration when we hit that 800. I'm probably less than 10 away from 800. So If you have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe. It helps. If you're already subscribed and you're wanting to know what you can do to help even further to make this channel better than what it is, there are a lot of ways that you can do that. You can give me a little bit of money right now with a super chat, and that would be so much appreciated. Every little bit helps, even if it's just $1. Don't matter. Just a little bit, what you can afford. Or if you want to help on a larger basis, there are two ways. You can go to Patreon and do that. Do I have a Patreon overlay? Used to. Don't have it here right now. Okay, Patreon. If you want to know how to get to that, link in the description. It's there. I know what it is because I put it there. If you want to become a channel member, if you are on a computer and some mobile devices, you can see a join button. If you do not see one, I have a join link in the description as well, and you can join the channel as a member. I do have one member. The more members I get, the more neat members only stuff I can do. And everything that patrons get, channel members get too. And right now, today, I became a member of Everything's Plastic Collectibles channel. I'm also a Patreon of his. And why am I doing that? Because my $2 membership to his channel, along with my, I forget how much it was, $2 Patreon, gives him even more money to make his channel even better. And it's $4, $4 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee at that damn place called Starbucks that you people waste all your money at buying funky coffee. And I'm willing to do that for him to help his channel grow. If you want to do that for me, I would appreciate it. If you don't, hey, that's fine. If you can't afford it, hey, that's fine too. But everything that you can do helps. Looks like John he's going to reboot himself more than likely and get back on. So we'll wait for John to come back. But anyway, I wanted everyone to know that there are those ways to help me. I don't push that a lot, but I am now, because as my channel begins to grow a little bit further, I know that those of you who have channels and are getting bigger understand this. There are expenses that we have to keep these channels going. We have to subscribe to certain services in order to get overlays, or to get pictures that are royalty free, or to get music that's royalty free. That stuff, while royalty free, is not free for us to just get and download. We have to pay a small nominal fee for these things, and those little fees begin to add up. StreamYard, in order for me to do StreamYard the way I do it, it costs me a little bit of money a month to do, and my patrons are who help this to happen. So I appreciate all of the channel supporters, everyone who's ever supported me in any way. At the end of every one of my streams and every one of my videos, the patrons come up, and the channel members come up, and those who have supported me over the time, they're on a list to come up, and you will see your name if you've done that, and I appreciate it. And now, as I wait for figuratively speaking to come back, he may not. I'm going to get ready here shortly to show the video for tonight. It's about 10 minutes long. The beating shall continue until morale improves. You will see what I mean by that on the first part of the video. On the second part of the video, it shows how this teacher should have approached the problems in his classroom. It is called Classroom Discipline. It's from 1947. We will watch that together. I will speak during it, and if you hear me, just say loud and clear in the chat, and that will let me know whether I can continue to talk over it or not. If nobody gives me that, I'll assume that you can't hear my voice, and I'll let you guys lampoon it in the chat, and I'll just throw them up on the screen. So the next screen you're going to see is the old TV set here. Can you hear me? Tell me loud and clear if you can. I'll wait just a few minutes for the chat to tell me loud and clear. If I see nothing, I'm going to start playing the video and let you guys just talk over it or post in the chat and see what you think about it. But here we go. Where is what I'm looking for? Here it is, right here. Yep. All right, here we go. Maintaining Classroom Discipline by McGraw-Hill Book Company. This is supposed to be in the public domain, so let's see what happens. Thank you, Zazel. Loud and clear, he said.
The vast majority of behavior problems in the classroom involve minor breaches of discipline.
Like throwing spitballs.
These incidents frequently originate in the classroom situation itself and are within the control of the teacher. Disciplinary problems in the classroom are symptoms of underlying weaknesses in total learning situations.
I didn't do it. You didn't see me do it. You can't prove anything.
Mr. Grimes, mathematics teacher, is displeased with the progress of his 9th grade class in mathematics.
You see what low grade you made on your weekly mathematics test? More than half of you failed. Most of those who passed just got by. Nobody had 100%. This is the poorest class I've had in a long, long time.
Every one of you are going to prison or the graveyard one.
Now, the trouble's with your attitude. You don't pay enough attention in class. You don't do enough work outside of it.
Bunch of lazy
You
slackers.
don't know what the word study means. You haven't the slightest idea. Don't you realize that mathematics is an important subject? I tell you right now that unless you get over your lazy habits and come up to the standards I've set for this class, many of you will have the pleasure of repeating this course next semester. Oh, what is it?
A note from Dr. Williams.
No.
All right, that's one. I have to leave for a few minutes. Now I want you to open your books and work out correct solutions of the problems you missed.
All right, he's out of the room. As soon as he gets out of the room, it's time for pandemonium.
I can't make any sense out of this. I might as well quit. Gee, you never even took up this third problem.
These mathematics be hard.
I'll just never pass this course. What's the use of taking this stuff anyway?
Yeah, we'll never use any of this.
He's just a sourpuss.
The trouble is, you don't know what the word study means. You haven't the slightest idea.
Oh, dry.
What's this? What kind of behavior do you call this?
Oh, my God.
Wait a minute, you stay where you are. This is the kind of behavior I might have expected of you. All I do is leave the room for a few minutes, and what do I find? Confusion, disorder. And you, what were you doing?
I was just going...
Going to what? Throw the eraser, I suppose. It's a good thing I caught you. I'll make an example out of you.
Oh, no, Mr. Hand, don't do
Leave
that.
this room and report to the principal's office immediately. Well, hurry up. Don't take all day.
Get out of here.
Who did that? All right, since you think it's so funny, the whole class can stay in for 45 minutes this afternoon. Then you'll see how funny it is. Remember, the whole class is to report back here at 4 o'clock. Where were we?
I can't come. I got a newspaper out to do. I got football practice. He can go fly a kite.
I have a piano lesson. I can't miss it. I think he's horrible.
Stop that whispering.
No, I think the revolt is fixing to happen there, Mr. Hand.
Mr. Grimes did not have a happy time of the week.
up that book.
Snitches get stitches and wind up in ditches.
All right, I'll wait till you're quiet. Many of you failed to hand in your homework yesterday. Now, you know that... What is this? Stop that noise. 2 detentions. 3 detentions.
The beatings will continue until morale
Come back until you're
improves.
ready to apologize to me.
Well, this is going to get us nowhere. Maybe we'd better go back to see if we can't find some of the causes of this undesirable learning situation. Just what was Mr. Grimes' purpose in making such statements as these?
This is the poorest class I've had in a long, long time.
Negative
This is hardly
reinforcement.
the way to win friends or influence people.
You don't know what the word study means. You haven't the slightest idea.
Might not be a bad idea to show them how.
I tell you right now that unless you get over your lazy habits and come up to the standards I have set for this class, many of you will have the pleasure of repeating this course next semester.
What kind of motivation is this? To what does it lead?
The trouble is, you don't know what the word study means. You haven't the slightest idea.
This reaction is the answer. It was the result of Mr. Grimes' provocative remarks. Now, take this.
It's a good thing I caught you. I'll make an example out of you.
Oh, come now, Mr. Grimes. By taking it out on the boy, aren't you covering up a symptom of your own deficiency?
Who did that?
Yes, who did? Some boy, probably.
Oh, wait a minute now. Why has it got to be the boys that did the fart noise?
There is an unwritten code covering such situations. Why try to buck it?
All right, since you think it's so funny. The whole class can stay in for 45 minutes this afternoon.
Mass punishment is a dangerous weapon and doesn't work too well.
2 detentions. 3 detentions. Leave this room and don't come back until you're ready to apologize to me.
It's a long way to the end of the term. When will this end? Thus, what should have developed into a sequence of pleasant and valuable learning experiences had deteriorated into a series of disagreeable and injurious personal tensions. This is all wrong. Need any of these incidents have occurred at all? Suppose Mr. Grimes had tried another approach.
Most of you are disappointed in the low grades you made on this test. So am I. Nearly all of you had trouble with that last problem on ratio. Perhaps I didn't do a good job explaining ratio. Now, ratio is commonly used in everyday life. Mother uses it in the kitchen when she takes a recipe for a big cake and uses proportional amounts of ingredients to make a little cake, vice versa. But let's suppose a recipe called for 8 cups of flour and 4 eggs. I wanted to make a cake half that size. How much would I use?
You need 4 cups of flour and 2 eggs.
That's right. You boys use it in the shop when you read a blueprint. As you know, a blueprint's merely a scale drawing of something that's usually larger. Suppose I had a blueprint of a bridge that's going to be 100 feet wide. But on this drawing, the bridge is only 10 inches wide. Now, how many feet would each inch represent?
10 feet.
That's right. Now, that's ratio. Now, let's see where we made our mistakes. The problem was this. What is the ratio?
No need to go in all this damn detail crap.
1.5 feet. Now, you looked hurriedly at 4.5 and 1.5. Said the answer was 3. Well, that's where you fell into a trap. What you forgot was that before you can divide, you have to reduce all units of measurement to the same unit. Now, what's the unit here?
Feet.
That's right.
By golly, I sure fell for that one.
First of all, let's change 4.5 yards into feet. That gives us 13.5 feet. And now we can divide 13.5 feet by 1.5 feet.
Look, you can make them numbers and figure that problem out
Right
without
answer
your
is
damn
9.
phone.
Wow, I see where I made my mistake.
Now, I want you to look over your papers very carefully and see where you made your mistakes. I'll come down the aisles, and if there are any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Yes?
No, Dr. Williams.
This is a whole lot different than the first time around, isn't it?
I have to leave for a few moments. On page 15 of your books, the first 3 problems are exactly like number 1 on the test. Suppose you do as many as you can until I get back.
Unfortunately, our badasses would have gone back to the pandemonium after he left the room, even though he was nicer this time around. But I get where they're going with this.
I get the idea now. I sure messed up my test paper. I'm glad he's going over these questions. I'd never make head or tail out of them otherwise. You know,
Boy, this
I'm
is some
beginning to get
top-notch
some
acting,
sense
isn't
out
it
of
there, John?
I hope I do better next time. I'd hate to bring another paper like this home. The way he explains it doesn't seem too hard.
We never had conversations like this in class.
No, but we did thump each other's ears, though.
Oh, let's have some fun while
Yep.
Mr. Grimes is out. Who wants to do these old problems anyway?
Sit your ass down. All right, let's see what happens this time around.
Now, you know where that border eraser belongs. That's where I put it there.
Grimes sure caught him in the act. All Grimes is a pretty good egg.
That's more like it.
I have to admit, though, he probably did better by showing them where they went wrong and then going around and reinforcing they're
Classroom
doing
control
right.
and learning efficiency are products of good teaching. Learning must be made meaningful. Interest in work for which learners see a purpose provides its own discipline. But in spite of interest and meaning, it must be remembered that some incidents will occur.
Here we go.
Skill in handling such occurrences prevents
There's
their growth
little
into
John,
problems.
figuratively speaking, getting ready to throw an apple.
Oh, that's a pretty good catch. For a moment, I thought you'd miss.
I'm sorry, but I owed him the apple.
Well, I guess a fellow's expected to pay his debts. I'd suggest, though, in the future you do your baseball practicing outside of class.
A friendly attitude with a sprinkling of humor goes a long way toward winning the regard and cooperation of the class. For respect is a more desirable molder of behavior than fear. The development of mutual understanding between teacher and pupils will help eliminate disciplinary problems.
And that comes to the end of that one. And I agree with a lot of this. Do you agree with that there, John?
I would agree with it, and then kind of at the same time, I think the way he reinforced it was great as the teacher. However, not all teachers are built alike, so you're not going to get that from every single teacher.
And you're not going to get that level of respect from every single student. However, I do fall back on respect is something earned. It's something that you have to give to receive as well. But I don't know how much of the beginning of this you caught, but in the beginning we saw that all he was doing was meting out beatings, hoping that he could gain control of the class with more and more and harsher discipline, and that wasn't working either. However, I do believe that sometimes a little harsher punishment is necessary in depending upon the circumstance. So, I mean, it's like a pendulum that swings. You can go either all the way in one direction or all the way in the other. And curious, I am to see what folks think about that, either in chat or in comments below. So, we've got the beatings out of the way. Morale never improved with those, but I think morale may improve as we once again talk about how we're having to pare down how much we're putting on pre-orders. So I too have had to assure Mrs. Weird Fantastic Toys that I am going to reduce the amount of intake that's coming into the old junk room here. And I think you've had to do the same thing, haven't you, John? Elaborate a little bit so we commiserate together.
Oh, absolutely. After the lady of the house seen the price tag behind the last orders, her first, what do you have left in pre-order status? 4 things. And she says, those could be your last 4 for a while.
Yep. Yeah.
Because I've been on a buying streak for a while here now, and she's like, let's tighten that up just a little bit. I mean, it's not hurting us financially. It's just, you've got to find a place for all of this right now. It's like, well, I have a place. I'm just not completely done with it. I've done the back half of that room, which is my new toy zone. And this is still going to be my computer zone, but I'm still going to switch this up a little bit because I want people to be able to see this wall that I have right here. That's like probably all my miniature action figures, things like that. And then I've got like these comic book posters that I printed and put inside of comic book sleeves. So that's like all the stuff from my childhood.
Right. And well, you got some work to do, but you're coming right along, and maybe you can pare down what you're buying and work on that for a little while and make the old lady happy, because we know that if mama ain't happy, nobody's going to be happy. Pop Actor Rick, you are the cheatingest cheater. We were allowed to bring Walkmans in the classroom exam. They didn't have such things when I was in school, and if they did, we wouldn't have been allowed to bring them in the class. So he records the answers to the tests on his tape and brings it in and pretends like he's listening to music as he listens to the answers to his test. If I had done something like that, I not only would have got caught doing it, but I would have gotten an example made out of me in front of everybody in the classroom for doing such a naughty thing. I'm surprised you got away with that, Pop Actor Rick.
That would have earned me the bruising of a week.
The Board of Education would have been applied directly to the seat of understanding at that point, I'm sure. And let's see, there's another comment. I could memorize TV shows and movies, but I could not remember a single answer to things that he had done in class. Okay. We're playing the duck music right now. We're going to feed the ducks there, figuratively speaking, with the music that plays at the end of the show, my friend. We've been on for 2 hours, and the duck music tells me that it's time to say adieu to everyone. We say good journey here on our show, like most of the Motu shows do. And of course, you can stick around and we can speak a little bit after this is over with. For everyone else, Yeah, paddle pop time. You're absolutely right there, John Florence. And it's time to beat that ass. I'm going to do a show tomorrow, and I kind of want to elaborate on something that happened over on Todd's Hebrew channel. We're going to talk about things that we can do that's pretty simple to do to add maybe that ghostly voice back to our new origins, Snake Mountain. So in the meantime, everyone, you have a good journey, and we will see you all next time here on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. Special thanks to the channel supporters. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like, subscribe, and share the video.